Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here, and welcome to another episode of Wizard Watch, where we take a look at this year's Elimination Chamber. And I thought overall it was a pretty decent show. It wasn't groundbreaking, it certainly didn't set the world alight, and it was slightly predictable because we almost had a clean sweep on the predictions. If it weren't for that damn Brock Lesnar getting disqualified and assaulting the referee Chad Patton. Why, Chad? What's he ever done to you? I mean, that was the guy that made the 3 count when you pinned The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. And that's how you repay the referee? Boy, is there going to be some more fines coming up for Brock Lesnar. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent show. The Women's Elimination Chamber to kick things off, I thought was absolutely fantastic. There were some really cool spots. I love the spot when the crazy Nikki Cross just jumped cross-bodied off one of the pods and just fell down on top of everyone. And then Raquel took out Nikki Cross, destroyed a pod. I thought that was a cool spot. There was a really cool spot as well with Liv Morgan as well, where she just sort of dived from up top, did a sunset flip on Raquel. I do feel sorry for the way that Liv Morgan got eliminated though, with a double submission. Poor old Liv. Like, overall, I can't complain though, because she was booked pretty strongly. All the women were booked pretty strongly, to be honest with you. And that women's roster is looking deep. It's looking strong. Now, it was the right call going with Asuka for the victory. Her taking on Bianca at WrestleMania is now official for the Raw Women's title. And it just makes total sense. That was our prediction. I think we kind of knew it was going to happen. But overall, no complaints. I thought Carmella plays her role perfectly. This cocky, arrogant, brash, bitch basically role, and there is a time and place for that within the women's division. I think she smashes it as well. Now, moving on to the battle between the two powerhouses in Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Now, we knew this matchup was going to be short, sharp and explosive. We didn't know it was going to be quite this short. We knew there was going to be F5s and spears galore. But the ending was quite surprising, because just as Lashley locked in the hurt lock and it looked like Brock Lesnar was in trouble, he retaliated by delivering a low blow, getting himself disqualified in the process and then assaulting poor Chad Patton. Boy, oh boy, there's going to be some serious fines coming up for Brock Lesnar. Poor old Chad. 2 F5s. I mean, come on, give the man a break. And, of course, this is now indecisive moving forward because, of course, Bray Wyatt issued a challenge to either Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley. He did say to which one survived. He technically didn't say to the winner. So I'm interested to see how this goes. Is this now going to be a triple threat? But technically on paper, Bobby Lashley did win via disqualification. So does that mean that Bray Wyatt's coming after Bobby Lashley? We'll have to wait and see. Stay tuned for the Firefly Funhouse and the return of that next week on SmackDown. Now, moving on to the matchup between the Grit couple and the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor versus Edge and Beth. And it was a decent matchup. The right result. We made this prediction. I know a lot of you thought that the Judgment Day were going to go over here, but you got to remember this is probably all setting up to Finn Balor versus Edge one more time. But this time on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. When the match finished, you could hear Finn saying, "This isn't over, I will get you." And so that looks the likely outcome. There were some good spots here. Of course, Dom just being an absolute brat, getting major heat. He is playing that role so well. I'm absolutely loving the way the Judgment Day have been booked. And it doesn't really matter here that they've taken the loss, because regardless, they still look super strong because they've got Rhea in one of the main events at WrestleMania, taking on Charlotte Flair. And you got to think she's got bigger fish to fry there. Now, moving on to one of the highlights of the show, the Men's Elimination Chamber match. I thought this was absolute fire. This had so many top spots. And there were 3 superstars, really, that majorly stood out for me in this. Bronson Reed looked like an absolute star in that matchup. I really thought he did. Johnny Gargano as well. Johnny Wrestling. What a great showing. I know he didn't get right through to the end, but again, he looked strong. And Montez Ford. We're certainly looking at him now in less of a comedic light now, because he has got such a presence. Physically as well, he's ridiculously athletic, and I love the spot where he just launched himself off the top of the chamber. He sort of hung himself at the top of the chamber, landing on all the superstars, and I thought that was quite cool. At one point, I thought, hang on a minute, was he legitimately injured from the curb stomp from Seth Rollins? But then looking back at it, it didn't seem like it was legitimate. Maybe it's part of kayfabe. But nevertheless, it really sold that story. And of course, out of nowhere, at the end of the matchup, I didn't see this coming, to be honest with you. I knew it was on its way, but I didn't think that Logan Paul was going to enter the chamber and cost Seth freaking Rollins the matchup, and Austin Theory retains. Now, we predicted that Austin Theory would retain in the predictions video. I didn't think it was going to be this way, to be honest with you. And maybe, just maybe, we get Austin Theory versus John Cena. Or maybe I'm just dreaming here. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, a fire match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the standout moments from tonight's show. And finally, that brings us on to the main event, the main course, Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. And give WWE credit where it's due. I think they did the best they could do, booking-wise, with this. Now, I know in a fantasy booking scenario, we'd have had Sami Zayn go over Roman Reigns and be the one to dethrone the Tribal Chief, the head of the table. But you've got to remember the reasons why Sami Zayn has got so over. Like, yes, it's because he's a fantastic, incredible performer, but also it's because he's played his part in a storyline involving the bloodline, and you can't ignore Roman Reigns' part in this, carrying off this like heel persona to perfection. You could even see him legitimately break kayfabe for a bit because he was so happy to see the reception that Sami Zayn got. And booking-wise, it made sense. We didn't think we were going to see the Usos. We saw Jimmy, which I was shocked. I thought DUI was going to prevent him from being there. And, of course, he attacked Sami Zayn. And then later on, we saw Jey Uso come out. And then Roman Reigns sort of handed him the chair. And he thought, which side is he going to take? And he didn't. It was indecisive. I know Sami Zayn accidentally speared Jey Uso, but we still don't know which route he's going to go down. Is he loyal to the bloodline, etc., etc.? But one thing I really like is they still kept Jey Uso strong. They booked him strong. He didn't just look like Roman's lackey. And again, we just got questions moving forward, that whole dynamic. One thing I do question, though, is obviously after Roman Reigns had got the victory, why Kevin Owens came out so late as well. I'm assuming it was just to bring up the crowd because it was so deflated after Sami lost. But I'm not taking anything away from Sami's performance. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. There was a couple of legitimate spots where I thought, hang on a minute, Sami could actually get the victory. But you're always waiting for someone to come in and distract the match. And I think we knew that Sami, in our hearts, we knew he wasn't going to get the victory. And then this looks legitimately like we're going to get Sami and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania, because I'm sure Jey is going to stay loyal to Jimmy. And that was one thing that kind of ruined it a little bit for me. The fact that the Usos have the tag team belts. So if Jey did turn and side with Sami, then what's he going to do with the tag belts? Just like chuck them away. Like that was one sort of thing that slightly ruined it for me. I think if they didn't have the tag team belts, the Usos, then there would have been a little bit more mystery around this. But overall, moving forward, I'm happy with the booking. Roman Reigns heads into WrestleMania to take on Cody Rhodes as we know it. I just got this feeling that Roman Reigns will still win and he'll beat Cody. I want Cody to win, of course I do. But you got to think they're going for that 1,000+ day title reign. Roman's at 902 days now, I think now. So, you know, he's getting there, isn't he? So this needs to pass WrestleMania in order for that to happen. And maybe they hold off until SummerSlam, till the dethroning. But we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. And as always, get down in the comment section and share your thoughts and opinions. What did you think of the show? Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.